Too many people are talking, not enough are saying anything real. This is the Amplified Vodcast, where we go beyond headlines and talk honestly about what it takes to lead, build, and communicate. I'm Angelique Phipps, and every week I sit down with people who have earned their voice by living it. Let's get into it. Today's episode explores how Victoria Masters turned personal loss into brand momentum, building 11th House from a kitchen table idea into a multi-million-dollar cult-followed business. We'll dig into the power of authentic storytelling and what it means to build influence without a blueprint. Welcome to the Amplified Podcast. I'm Angelique Phipps, and this is the amazing Victoria Masters. Thank you for coming, and thank you for joining us. This woman is a marketing genius and doesn't even know it. And we are here to learn all about her story. Victoria, let's start with the moment in April of 2020 when you were at your mom's kitchen table going through a divorce during COVID. And you said, I wish there was a pure, potent pheromone product. What made you believe that this could actually work?
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where I knew that I was already using the product and I liked them, but I knew that they could be just improved upon. And so, in order to take a product that already exists that's way out of my wheelhouse because it sounds so intimidating because it's
Mhm.
science, so it's not something I could just make in my kitchen table. I really was overwhelmed with where to start. But my mom just simplified it, and she was just, "Girl, just call a lab. Let's just call labs and pick." And I was like, "It can't be that easy," but it kinda was. So, that's how it all started. I was going through my divorce, I was in the thick of it, I started dating again, and I was using pheromones from all over Amazon and just everywhere else, and they weren't vibing, they weren't meshing with the more expensive perfumes that I was already wearing. So I knew that I could do something better and have the best.
That's awesome. And so I know your story is this kind of reinvention of self. And some of us have been through divorces and some of us haven't, maybe even just a bad breakup, but we all know that feeling of the comeback has to be big. 'Cause part of your allure for the brand has
Nice.
been that comeback. How did you decide what parts of your story to share early on and what to hold back? Was that intentional? Did you figure it out along the way? How did that go? Because I know that you were going through a lot, even just going back into the dating pool. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it was so tricky for me because I had never navigated something like that before, like divorce, and I had been married for my entire adult life. I got married when I was 18. So, and being with my son's father, I had my son, I got pregnant at 16, had him at 17, married at 18. So it was like my life moved so quick
Mm.
to become an adult. And I really prided myself on my marriage. Like, I was very, very, very proud of who I was and my identity as, like, a mom and a wife, that I really didn't kind of engage in develop myself as my own personal
Right.
person. That was who I was their mom and their wife. And so it was scary because I was like, "Oh, people are gonna think I'm a fraud. People are gonna think
Mhm.
everything I've said about my life wasn't true." But in to me, it very much so felt amazing this whole time. So, being scared to talk about my divorce was definitely a thing for me, which felt so foreign because I was so used to building my whole life online by being transparent and by talking about things like, "Oh, because of Hurricane Katrina, I'm a clothing hoarder now.
Mhm.
Because of this happened." Like, I would share all of these things, like, all these stories to kind of connect with other people. So, why was it so hard for me to share what was really going on in my life with my
Yeah.
marriage other than, like, a simple little kind of Facebook post? That was tough, and that part, once I released it, once I did finally make the post and was like, "Fuck it." Like, y'all going on. My husband left me. He got the other girl pregnant. This I go
What?
nightmare, okay? Like, my life is a nightmare right now. Here it is. Say what you want. And once I did that, it was so easy for business. Like, and when it came to developing everything for 11th House and the messaging behind it, I didn't feel like I was hiding anything anymore. So it didn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, and then the authenticity and just the vulnerability, I feel like it's very aligned with pheromones because that's allowing yourself to come through in different ways, and that's something that you can't fake, and we definitely live in this world of fake. You know, it's see people with these brands and these houses, stuff they don't even live in or can't afford, or and it's gonna be exhausting to keep up, and so it's always refreshing when you see someone that's, "Oh, I'm gonna keep it real." It's so tough, and I think that you love them that much more. Moving on to when this just hit big for you, let's talk a little bit about the video from Jenna Canella. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. Sorry, Jenna, if I did not. You did. She called your True Allure a stupid perfume at first. And in that moment, did you realize that you had found something powerful and letting customers tell their own stories, even if it was messy? Now we know that it turned out good, but I'll let you tell that story.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jenna's video changed the course of my entire life. It was literally the 5th week that we had even been started with the company, so we were brand new, an infant, and she made this thing in her car, just a selfie video, and she kind of reenacted her day and was I went through all my PR boxes, I grabbed this thing that looked like a perfume, I sprayed it all over myself, ran out the door. These people were offering me free stuff. This person here was just talking to me and they never want to talk. This happened. And so when she got home, she's, what the hell? Today was so weird. And she's on the phone with her telling her. And she remembered that she had on the perfume, but she also thought, I don't even smell it. Like, this is a
Mhm.
stupid perfume because I can't even smell it. It smells like nothing. And that's when she realized and she went back to it. And we include a little placard in each order that says, not a perfume. Like, this is not a perfume. It's so much better. And it's something that you layer on, and what she put on was the True Allure, and that product is completely unscented oxytocin. So you can wear it by itself, or you could put it on and layer it with whatever perfume you already wear. And she was just confused at what it was, and that's when she realized, like, "Oh, this is a pheromone, like, this is used in for social connection." And she posted that video, and I was working at, like, a luxury furniture company in sales at that.
Mhm.
It was like 2:30 when she posted it, and by 3:30, when I was, like, on my way to go pick up my son from school, we had sold out, and we had 100 of each product in stock. We sold out of everything, and then within hours, I mean, her whole entire comment section was like, "When can I order this? Why is it sold out? What can I do? What can I do?" I was like, "I don't even know how to deal with this." And so we
Mhm.
took almost 18 hours before we had the bright idea to put it on pre-order,
Mhm.
and we put it on pre-order immediately. I mean, I pressed live for pre-order, and in 60 seconds or less, we had already had ding, 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 all these pre-orders coming in. It was crazy. We were doing 20, $30,000 days. I think we did $140,000 or $130,000 that week in sales.
Wow.
Crazy.
And it was from just this off the cuff stupid perfume. It's a perfume comment.
Now that we're talking about it and thinking about it, someone posted the other day on TikTok and they say, every time that you post a video on the internet publicly,
Mhm.
it's like a free lottery ticket. And
Mhm.
so freaking true. You never know what's
Yeah.
going to happen and you never know the kind of impact it's going to have on your life.
I keep drawing things back. I mean, obviously, I'm speaking from a PR perspective, and I can definitely tell the spin from the real, and sometimes we have to have a little bit of a mix of both to make it okay for the public. But I love even the fact that Jenna had this very off the cuff, authentic. Let me tell you about my day, and that was it for you. And I think that having this reinvention of yourself and being very honest, not where you're oversharing necessarily, but where you're honest, and I've seen your other videos and I love them. I think that that is a thing. I mean, if only we could get the rest of the internet to do this, right? So, what you going back to what you said about the selling out within 10 minutes of this video, what did that teach you between the difference in someone sharing a very authentic story of their day versus running an ad or going with maybe another influencer or creator that isn't as, "Oh, this is great. Here, unbox with me." Let's show you between the 2 approaches, you
Yeah,
think?
I think one thing that we learned really, really quickly was that we are 100% anti unboxing. The
Mhm,
actual physical act of an unboxing is written all over. If we have any creative briefs, we do not want that. To us, we're not at the position, we're not a name brand enough to for it to matter to keep that ongoing awareness that would come from that. If you're going to post a picture of us and tag us, or if you're going to get something as PR from us, which we're even extremely picky this year about stuff that the unboxings do absolutely nothing for their audience and it does absolutely nothing for prospective people for us. People now, unless you have some crazy unboxing experience where butterflies are flying out of it or something, it's not gonna matter, you know? Now, on the flip side, if you're unboxing it and you're telling us this is your second order and this is
mhm.
what you reordered, and we get to hear a part of the how you use it in your daily life, then that's a completely different experience, and we would love to
To
work with you
hear.
do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, people have said the interwebs have said that you have a cult-like following. When did you realize that it's gone from customers to community? Community is so important, whether it's brands, creators, whatever you are, having that, you know, where whatever it is, they're there. When did you learn that you had this and or not learn, but realize it and what told you that your brand was connecting on another level?
I think when I realized that what I thought as a business owner was going to hit was the opposite. So for us, launched with 3 main products. 2 of them were more romantic-based pheromones. One of them is a social-based pheromone, which was True Allure, right? So the 2 romantic ones, one is more geared towards straight men attracting women, the other
Mhm.
straight women attracting men. I thought full force 100% those would be our biggest sellers. Those would be the quickest. Those would be what people connected to. And very, very, very quickly now, mind you, we got an influx of orders, so we were able to use that as case studies quickly, 'cause
Mhm.
people don't get that opportunity, but we were able to really quickly see that people just yearn for connection. Like, as many people who will buy a romantic blend, they are making more money, they are having deeper and better conversations, and they're connecting better when they use our oxytocin-based pheromones. So for me, very quickly, I
Mhm.
saw that we built a community around people mainly in the service industry and
Hmm.
people who are lonely. And to me, I would have never in 1,000 years guessed that that's how that would have went down. The people who do sales, commissions, real estate agents, everything from real estate agents to strippers and everything in between, you know what I mean? Like bartenders, servers, they love, 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 love True Allure
Oh,
on auto ship month after month after month.
wow. Something that just kind of takes me to just the loneliness that so many people felt during COVID, and then also that, I guess, touching back to even with your own story, that loneliness and just trying to figure out, who you are and where you are in the world, and to me, it just makes so much sense even with your branding and how that's coming. That's awesome. So I see why you have the cult like following. It's
It was
yeah.
amazing to see because we have an industry high reorder rate.
Mhm.
Like most people who are in the fragrance realm or the fragrance umbrella, they don't have the type of reorder rate that we have, and I truly think it's because We don't do what a lot of our competitors do, which is that flashy, fake, people
Mhm.
excessively sniffing all over and be, "Oh my god, I'm gonna throw you in the bed right now." And while that
Yeah.
happen, and we do get stories like that, that's not the everyday experience for most people. What most people are gonna see is that they have a subtle experience that is woven in and out through their lives on their everyday and just enhances it that much more.
Love that. That's awesome. Moving on to more of the story-driven brand building, can you share a time when a customer's feedback outside of Jenna directly shaped a product or even a business decision at 11th House?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say this is necessarily one customer. This was over and over and over again, where people who aren't big into actual fragrances, because again, our first 3 products, those were just base layers. That's what we call them. They're meant to layer with
Mhm.
whatever else or each other or whatever, but they weren't
Mhm.
necessarily fragrances. And we kept hearing over and over and over again, I wish I made them so I could get my fragrances with you guys too. Or I wish I had a fragrance that already had the formula built into it. And I was so against it at first because I'm like, this is way beyond my wheelhouse. This is not any longer, we're not dealing with raw materials. Now we're dealing with layers of chemistry and things like that.
Mm.
But we played around with it. And when we launched our first fragrance, it was Middle Child.
Mhm.
And when I tell you that I have more people who order this and say that they wish they could bathe in it, that they a pool of it, they dive in it. And so those people that have said that and kind of beat that into us, they directly influence us having a fragrance division. Now we have 2 and 1 on the way. So we have Aura and we have which is a true allure based fragrance like oxytocin. And then we have Middle Child, which is more social, kind of different variations of pheromones kinda mixed in that's just as unisex and divine.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When someone shares a strong reaction to your product, whether it's glowing or if it's critical and yeah, this is not for me, how do you decide what to respond to publicly and what becomes internal feedback? What are you going to say immediately? Love what you had to say, or thank you for your feedback, or,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. Or is it something like how do you determine personally what you respond to publicly or just take in house so you can figure out what's happening?
I think when it's something critical, we kinda use 2 questions. The first question is, if I respond to this publicly, will it help educate the consumer on why we made the choices we did? Like, if they don't like something specific, but I know that we picked why we did it like that for a certain way, can I educate other people with that? Then yes, I will probably respond to it publicly. And then the second thing is, are they just being so crude and horrible that I can use this as an opportunity to respond and remind people that there's human beings on the other side of
Right.
the
Of
game,
this. Yeah.
then I'll probably likely respond to that. Thankfully, I'm so used to the internet and low key,
Mhm.
high key kind of thrive in chaos. Oh, say I don't mind a hater. I love the traffic that comes from a hater. With it,
Mhm.
I do know that how I choose to respond to those types of things, someone may be watching who is scared to launch their own project because they're full of being made fun of or whatever on the internet.
Mhm.
And if I can use that as an opportunity to help ease their mind and say, "Okay, this is the worst thing someone could say about me." Okay.
Yeah. And they don't even know me.
Stranger with a cat as a profile picture. I do not care, you know?
What about the ones with I call them the truck stop glasses?
Wait, I've never seen that.
Well, I mean, some of my viewers may not appreciate it. It's okay. I don't really care. I call them the truck stop Trump translators, where you've got the reflective glasses. They're usually a certain subset of people.
Yeah.
They have them. If they have them at all, it's usually that or, no sure.
Yeah,
I
use
mean,
777-239. Literally don't I mean, I had one thing and these people kept calling me a lizard. They were like, "You look like a lizard, you look like a lizard." And I was
mm,
like, "I love that for me." I don't know what you want to say. No, literally though. It's so stuff like that is so crazy to me. And it's just I think of it as comedy, but I know that not ever feels that way.
True. Some of it can be hurtful, but why?
Right.
So you've always chosen to educate your audience, which I think is important. I personally laughed looking when I was looking through the videos where yeah, you guys were getting scammed. But so in lieu of promoting to the audience, as most people do, you're actually educating them, which is something that's important to me across the board, whether it's a brand or it's a nonprofit or whatever it is. I think the smarter your audience is, the more they trust you. Why is that so important to you? And that, because that's been a theme throughout your branding.
Yeah, I think it's because in order to, especially our product line, when you're dealing with pheromones, which a lot of
Mhm.
people don't understand. And hell, even in the beginning, I didn't necessarily understand. I had to learn that too. It's one of the things where the more you talk about it and the more you look into it yourself and talk to other people about it, the more you learn in the process. So in the beginning, it really was a way for me to learn more about what I was doing because to me,
Mhm.
just so go with the flow that I'm okay, I'm gonna test these materials out until I like it. And that's how I create. That doesn't necessarily translate for someone who is a very type A person or needs a lot of information. I had to start reading medical journals. I had to start doing all these things that I never thought I would have to do. So that to me was a big part of us starting in the beginning and connecting with people. Now at this point, I think it's just an ongoing conversation with the internet. I think of education as one of our content pillars because it's science. As much as I tell myself I'm not a science nerd, it is what
Mhm. Yeah, you kind of are.
it smart podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that's kinda how I feel here is that I don't know what to tell you if you're not getting this, but yeah, she's a science nerd. She's a science even if she thought she wasn't. She may think she's not many things, but I would disagree. That, marketing genius, all kinds of things. I mean, kinda spicy, she's all sorts of things. So, I guess now you're in this long enough where you've grown, you've obviously scaled, you've moved into different spaces with mentions in, beauty magazines, influencers love you. How do you make sure that your voice stays consistent and your brand is aligned from where you started and what, your ethos is? How do you keep that consistency?
I think I always ask myself, does this go back to connection? And if it doesn't, then it's not for us. So my biggest life umbrella is helping to connect people, connect them better with it, with themselves, and with other people. So anything
Mhm.
I whether it's under 11th house or it's under Dear Everyone, the podcast, or if it's under
Mhm.
just personal life, everything I do and touch, I want people to feel connection.
I love that, and for those of you listening, you also have to check out the Dear Everyone podcast, it's great, and also, it's Via So Spicy, we'll have all of that in the description, Victoria's pretty hilarious.
I
You should follow her.
the type of person to think I'm funny, and you are
I
that type of person, so
Come on, I don't know about who just says same.
I know, but I like it.
Hey, um, so what is the most important thing that a brand can do today to move from just attention, like, "Hey, here you are. Oh, you'll love this. This is us," to actual connection and an emotional connection with their audience, with even if it's just an audience of one right now.
I think whatever you're receiving whenever you create content, whether that's feedback, whether that's questions, expanding upon whatever that is over and over and over again. I think one thing that a lot of people fail to do, and I see this just whenever I take private clients for marketing and stuff too, when I have all this time, I have no time, but I do, then, one of those things is I'll say, oh, when it comes to educating your audience, I've only saw 3 videos in the last month of you explaining what your service is or what your product is.
Mhm.
Why is that? And they're like, "Well, I don't wanna keep talking about the same thing over and over and over again." I'm like, "Babe, welcome to the internet. Your people already need to see or hear something between 9 and 12 times before they make a move. whether that's following you, making a purchase, reaching out, whatever it may be, signing up for your newsletter, they need to hear it from most people 9 to 12 times. That's a lot
Right.
of hearing the same message over and over and over again. And that's why commercials run like they do, or anything is running constantly to keep it at the front of your mind. You're already bombarded with marketing everywhere you look. So to stand out,
Yeah.
keep it going. So I think that is an upper edge that I have, is that I don't care if I have to repeat myself on the same thing over and over and over again. I will do it until you go watch my video or making like, oh my God, we shall shut up ago. Like, you can post the same thing 10 times in a row, especially on TikTok. You get 10 of the same videos in a row, and your followers, people who actually follow you, might only see one of them.
You are now living in your dream home and you're newly married. You're running a multi-million dollar brand. It sounds crazy, I'm sure, to even say that sometimes. What would you tell the the version of yourself that was sitting at your mom's table in April of 2020?
Gods. I'd be like, just bitch, like, so scared for some reason. I don't wanna say some reason, like,
Mm.
everything I launch, everything I do, I put a lot of heart into it. Like, everything I do is for connection. In order to have that, then you know that you want it to mean something to other people, right? So, before I launched that, I was so scared. And just to see, like, how everything has come together, I think also I would tell myself, like, dream bigger. Like,
Yeah.
never would have thought, and I should continue to think bigger and bigger and bigger, you know?
Yeah, that's something I always ask too, is just like, well, why not? Like people will be like, "You can't," but why not? But why? So I love that. For our amplified audience, many of whom may be building their own thing. It could be a brand, it could just be them, like trying to figure out who they are and where they're going. What part of your story do you want them to carry with you after this?
I think reinvention. Like, there's not a moment in your life where you can't transform into a version of yourself, even if you have to make that version of yourself into, like, a character. Like,
Mhm.
like we were talking about Be So Spicy on the podcast, like, that is, like, a version of myself that when I wanna step into, like, hot girl, spicy added,
Mhm.
do whatever, don't care what people think. Like, that's not me 24/7, but
Mhm.
I turn that on. I know that's a part of me. And so
Yeah.
definitely like would suggest people would create an avatar, whether that's like a business avatar, a personal avatar, whatever it is, to step into that version of themselves that they want to be.
Yeah, I love that. That is great advice. So it's like authenticity, but that's also an authentic piece of you.
It's a piece of it. It
Eh,
doesn't have to be 24/7. Like,
I
it's not a bathtub for 90% of the day, you know what I mean? But that 10%, I can do business deals, I can make decisions, I can move fast, I could ask questions to people who are out of my range. Like, I can do those things for 10% of the day, you know?
Yeah, I love it though. It's great, and I think we all have it. Just sometimes it gets buried. So I love that. What is one piece of content, yours or someone else's, that made you rethink how you tell your own story?
Ooh, my own story or 11th House stories?
Any of them. It could be yours, it could be the brand, it could be someone else's piece of content.
I think this is a more recent one. And it's
Mhm.
helping me to really create a professional avatar right now to step into, and that is Alex Cooper from College
Okay.
Cat. So having her show, and while I don't necessarily love or obsess, if she sees this one day and it's clips, my bad girl, but necessarily who she is as a host, that part of her that she's able to make the decision she had to reach the level of success to be able to interview Kamala Harris last year. Like that level of audacity, I feel like I'm called to do the same. And so I have stepped made my steps differently lately because of seeing her documentary.
Yeah, that's awesome. But Thank you again for joining us. Hopefully, everyone has learned so much. I know I have. And just a lot of it is just be yourself and be brave and just do it. So I think that will definitely resonate with a lot of people that hear this. And is there anything else you want?
Ah, ADHD can be your gift and your crutch. So use it as a gift more than a crutch when you can.
I love that. All right. Well, see y'all next week.